All right, welcome to Jack Dodson'S Racing Insider News this week with the Robbie Parker edition. Jack can't defend himself tonight. And got to give a shout out to Connor Hall, man. It's official. National. That's a pretty big deal.
National.
I mean, Chuck straightened me out.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
It's not a regional.
No.
National
champion.
I thought the same thing. Everybody else is regional. He's national. He's number one in the nation.
I mean, that's I mean, there's probably only a handful of guys that have done that, right? I mean, I don't know how long the National's been around, but
yeah.
That's it doesn't get really any bigger than that in the late model division.
No, not for a track over here on the East Coast by the water.
I mean, he's probably still going to be on the hole for the year.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure.
I think Phil made money that one year. He won the Mid-Atlantic regional title, but
it really.
I think Phil made money that one year.
Look at the opportunities that him and Chad Bryant gave some of these younger drivers.
Yes. To
run the late model race.
I know some people are giving him a hard time. Everybody has done that, right? But it has give, Riley Music and these guys an opportunity of what it's like to be in good equipment, make some laps, get some experience. I mean, who would have said no? If they'd called you, would you have said no?
That's filling your resume. I've been in a heartbeat. That's filling out your resume. So.
You'd have went, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You tell me what all you want to. I got a late model ride under my belt.
I'll ride around in your late model, no problem.
No, right. And I mean, and the experience that they got out of that, not just in the car, but with a team, with people that know, that are. This is what they do for a living.
That's right.
That's the top of, and we got to be very lucky. I mean, you got Butterbean, you got Connor Hall. Both guys are running a cars tour. They're winning races. One's winning a national championship. I mean, Butterbean's making he's obviously making the best out of his deal. Yeah. I mean, you can't be much prouder for Langley Speedway to have the spotlight because people got to be talking about us.
Oh yeah, well, there's short track scene, places like that.
Yeah, especially after this. I mean, it's official for him to have the championship, and man, I can't imagine his phone's probably ringing off the hook.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, hey. Of course, if it was me, I wouldn't be able to get my helmet on. My head be so big,
Kind of like me Saturday, huh?
Yeah, Robbie talked more than 30 minutes than he did last year. And when I went over to the window, I said, I told his wife, I said, man, he got perma smile on. I can see him smiling through the helmet. And then when I went over to Sammy, I said, "Is this your fault?" He said, "Uh-huh."
Hey,
it is. Yes.
Truth. Telling you the truth. When I come out here on any other Saturday night, and in the night, my feet are killing me.
Yeah. No.
My feet hurt. My legs hurt. I have flat feet. I'm dying at the end of the night. Saturday, I didn't feel it. I was walking a foot off the ground. I didn't feel the rocks out there.
Now wait a minute. When did Barbara know? Or Brenda, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
When did Brenda know that you was getting in the car? She said she's the last one to know.
We kind of threw it out there. It's maybe happening.
Threw some breadcrumbs out there.
Yeah, we kind of threw it out there. She's like,
I told her I was going to get this straight. I told her I was going to get this straight and find out.
She's probably watching too.
She is.
Okay. All right.
So watch what
you
say.
I kind of throw it out there, hint around. And we're going to do it in August, really. August was going to be when it was done, but we got to talking and looking around and said, it's time to move, time to upgrade our house. So we got to looking around, over here, and I think we found the right house for me and her to, live out our lives in. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to put the race car on hold. Let's get this house thing straight, get it done.
So you told her you were putting it on hold?
Yeah.
Or does she still not know at that point?
She probably doesn't think I did. I did.
You dropped the breadcrumbs. You just didn't pick them up.
Yeah. I mean, what it led to was the whole team working on the car every night last week. Normally, we only work 2 nights a week. We were out there, Monday through Friday night. And I couldn't ask for I'm going to say, we're not a team. We're a family. Most people call us a team. We're a family. I couldn't ask for a better bunch of people to be around. They were there. They helped me. They supported me all day Saturday. And even when I was selling my house, I had to do some fixing it up. The whole team, the whole family was there. They came over and helped me. You know, they have jobs just like I do, but they had to drive from this side of the water to my side, which is a change. Normally I'm driving from my side to their side.
Right.
They were there to help me get it fixed so somebody can come by and look at it. That was all done, contract, and I said, okay, I have this date. I have to have all my stuff out on a Sunday by noon. I think we raced Saturday night or something happened. And Sunday morning, like 8, 9 o'clock, they started showing up. By 12 o'clock, everything was in the trailers, and we were rolling out. And then when I signed on my new house, I said, I got the keys to the house. They said, okay, we'll be by there soon. Okay. Started unloading everything. And most people say that we're a race team and all that. Us at Frontline, we're a family. We're a racing family. We stick together. We help each other out. One needs help, we're all there.
Yeah, and that makes differences, man. You don't realize how much stuff you got, especially when you've been in a house for 30 years.
Oh, yeah. There's stuff I threw away. I'm still throwing stuff away. Well, why did I pack this? Why did we pack this? And then when I went to clean out my garage, yeah, I'm a pack rat. I was like, oh, man, I remember this. Why did I keep this?
Yeah. All right, well, let's hit our sponsors real quick here. Got to thank GAC, Great American Company. I guess I need to push the button, huh? Papa John's for providing pizza for us every night. Factory Canopies and Fluid Logic. VA 811. Slinger Speed, if you want a local company to do you some T-shirts and stuff. Gen X Motorsports Driver Development and Race Rental Program for sponsoring the show. Black Acid, can't thank Black Acid enough for not only supporting us for all these years, but then, you know, with our driver sponsorship for 2024, they've stepped up and donating 2 full custom suits for the both winners for next year. MPM Marketing, Mayhem Management for doing all the graphics for us. Can't thank her enough. Bondurant Brothers Distillery.
Any product yet?
I know Jack needs to go get us some product.
I'm not gonna say his name because he said don't mention his name. He needs to tighten up.
That's right. He said don't switch it. We'll just say
that person.
Saturday. Yeah, you could have. You could have used the bottle. Langley Speedway, Chuck Hall, Bill Mullis. Performance Plus Motor Oil, Safety Clean. Let's see. GRIER and Associates with Mean Dean Automotive. Moyoc Automotive. Yeah, Jack can't say Moyoc.
It's pronounced Moyoc. I work with people that live in Carolina. It's pronounced Moyoc.
Yeah. For whatever reason, Jack just can't get that down. Sometimes he does.
It's that Cortland.
Yeah. Turn 2 Synthetics. That pressure washing guy, WALTRIP's Pressure Wash Solutions, and Pepsi. Oh, sorry, we got a couple more. I keep forgetting.
I had a better night.
Southampton Motor Speedway, and GAITA Graphics. Jack found or we got sent from.
I'll get with him. I gotta get you a better picture.
Yeah, Jack's like, that's all I can find.
I'll get with him.
Oh Lord, Jack's on. Jack says he's still there.
Yeah.
Wow, he misses me.
Yeah, we're here, buddy.
Actually, I need to ask Sammy and see if because we like when we do the presentation for the 2 drivers who are going to win the program, we want to give them a great big check and see if Sammy can make us a big.
He can do that.
Couple
if
of
not,
checks.
he has a.
You know somebody. Yeah. So I meant to say something to Sammy, but I figured after the race it was probably not a good time. So Paige, how was your night Saturday?
It was okay. I finished 6th, qualified 4th.
I know. I seen that. I was like,
yeah, had some problems.
Did you just quit letting him work on the car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But had some problems before the race even started and had to go in the pits and started in the very back. So Chase McAdams was back there too. I was like, I'm just going to follow Chase because I knew he was going to the front. So.
Yeah. And somebody was in the way, he'd move him out of the way.
And he did. He did. Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm going to take advantage of this. Just keep going. So, yeah, made it back to 6th. So.
Well, sometimes, too, like following somebody through there or like following Robbie, there's tricks to moving people, right?
Yeah.
And somebody has experience. you can see, and you're like, oh, that's how we do it. But I like how Landon told me one time the catch and release program. I'm like, the what? He's like, yeah, you catch them on the front stretch, and when you get down in the corner, you release them, and they move out the way. And then you drive under them. I'm like, I love that catch and release program.
Yeah.
It works.
But it takes a little finesse to learn. I mean, sometimes you end up wrecking somebody, figuring out what is too much and not enough, right?
Yeah.
But that's how you learn.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yep. I knew Chase could get his way through because he does it. He usually starts in the back every race, I think, because he like misses practice or something or qualifying. So I was like, I know he knows how to get to the front, so I just followed him. So yeah.
Well, it had to be exciting. I mean, fourth was a good
Was
qualifying.
that your decision or his?
That was mine.
That was your
told him.
decision?
That was mine. I was like,
Good job.
Chase is back here. I'm following Chase.
Good
so
job.
yeah, he's like, all right, we'll get behind him.
There you go.
But who's women in it? Who spots for you?
Austin.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
You know, the night she has problems.
Yeah.
That we know what the problem is.
Yeah.
I guess she disagrees. Yeah.
Yeah. He does okay. He does good.
What's your best finish
Ever?
ever in the trucks?
I think fourth.
Fourth?
A few years ago.
Six. So you're knocking. You're right at that door knocking.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get in that five, you get in that top five, then you're thinking, okay, top three, top two.
Yeah. I could have had it a few times this season, but I have bad luck. Very bad luck.
Yes.
Now, why did you have to go to the rear?
I kept losing power.
Mm.
When we, right after they put us in our spots, the truck just died.
Mm.
And then I got it started again, and we started rolling for pace laps. And as soon as I got to the flag stand, it cut off again. So they pushed me around. But something in the carburetor, the needle or something was fully up.
Float hung up.
Yeah.
Float hanging up.
Flooding out.
Mm-hmm. So.
What size wrench you beat on it with?
Jeans aren't in their big zone.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's
so,
right, you were up there.
Yeah. But they got me back out there, so that's all that matters.
It worked. You end up having a good race.
Yeah.
You drove back up in the trailer.
Mm-hmm. That's
You had a better
right.
night than I did. So.
Yeah.
Hey, that's saying something.
Yeah,
man.
that's right. Yep, it stayed in one piece, so. Yeah.
So you gonna continue to run next year? I mean, you plan on staying in the truck series?
Staying in trucks.
Are you having fun?
Most of the time.
Most of the time. Now, does he talk a lot, or do you like somebody to talk a lot on the radio?
I do. But sometimes I feel like because we watch the races together and stuff. So sometimes I feel like he's like just watching the race with me. He'll be like, oh my God,
Not
they just
paying
got,
attention.
yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be like, oh my God, they just got taken out. I'm like, okay, well, am I going high or am I
Yeah,
going
where do
high?
I go?
Where am I going?
Like, or rethink your spotter
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, you might want to put an application down.
But I understand because it's easy to do.
Yeah.
It's like, some people have a really good
A
knack
lot of
for
times,
spotting.
like with me, depending on where they're running, I'm looking ahead. I'm
Right.
trying to look ahead.
Mm.
And then you got to keep looking, behind them. You got to have their back, but you're trying to look ahead to see what's going to happen ahead.
My last lap, she was like, "You see me almost lose that too?" I said, "No, I was watching."
I was like, you weren't even watching me. Okay.
So don't ask him how did I look because he doesn't know. How did you look? I don't know. I was watching up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like somebody that talks a lot,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it does help when you have somebody that at least has raced, I think, sometimes, because at least they can relate. Robbie was actually the first one that actually spotted for me
Yeah.
in the Pro 6 because Dave had something to do. And it's nice because, for us in our first race that Robbie was like, hey, try back in the corner. He was giving me pointers, and obviously Robbie has a lot of experience and I don't. And that's encouraging too.
Yeah, I've had a lot of different people spot for me also, and I could tell the different. Like some of them will tell me to like back the corner and that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then some of them I guess don't have the same experience or don't see that the same or.
Well, I think some people may not have the confidence to tell you.
Right.
I think some people just don't. That's just not their knack. I mean,
Right.
I think everybody has a different personality per se.
That was like me. At the start of the race, I had DJ Valente spotting for me.
Mm-hmm.
So start of the race, I hear him, then it just got quiet. I'm thinking, well, why are you awful quiet? I said, I must be doing okay, you know. So we come up on like 3 lap cars, like, you know, right in a line, and I'm like, okay. So I go in there and I go by them, and I'm like,
You still ain't heard nothing?
is he still, you know, is he up there? So I'm like, okay. Well, then the caution come out. So I just keyed the radio. I'm like, DJ, I lost you. You still there? And I could hear somebody talking, but I thought it was the PA system. I'm like, I kept hearing something. I'm like, and then I could barely hear him talking in my ears. So, you know, I reach up and unplug the earbuds, I plug them back in, and I'm like, and I keep hearing it going on. But then I started to clean the tires off, and when I did, I felt the radio wire hit my elbow. And that's my first time driving that car.
Mm-hmm.
The way the radio wire was hanging down, I actually
had pulled it apart.
Connects it.
Mm.
So, you know, I'm like,
I used to do
boom,
that.
and I pulled it back and
I
it
had to
had the
tape
radio, and I'm like, oh, okay. So, yeah, I can hear you now.
That's funny because for me, I don't know. I don't know how Spencer Saunders. He doesn't have a spotter. He doesn't use a spotter.
He doesn't?
No, in the Legends cars. But like, I get nervous.
I really never had spotter till I started running here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Southampton and all that. I never had spotter.
So you didn't know that you had lapped Jack twice in one lap because you didn't have a spotter.
You went there, not me.
I figure he's listening. He'll be saying something.
But yeah, no, I never run them, and
well, that's pretty common in dirt, right? Most dirt guys,
they don't
wear or
run
use
them back then. I think a lot of them still don't run them.
That's what I was thinking.
And
yeah.
But when I came, first time I actually used radios was at Southern National, and then when I came, I was barred set, and then when I came back here, I said, you know, of course, you know, when I was racing in Southampton and all that, I was racing, you know, 14 cars, 15 cars. I come to Langley, before the Grand Stocks changed the bodies over and everything, there was 20-something cars out here.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to have radios for this.
Yeah.
So
well, it's just too tight of racing compared to dirt, I would think.
When you get certain people, like, you know, I've had a lot of drivers spot for me, and you just get comfortable in there. Like, just watch my back. I got the front, watch my back.
Yeah.
So,
although it's kind of crazy, I know a few times I'd watch the video after Dave would tell me I was clear. Yeah. And then I watch the video, I'm like, damn, that was close. You know, like,
I had Davey one night spotted for me. I asked him to do it. And in the middle of the race, the car just went to crap. I mean, I was frustrated, you know, I got on the radio, and I was basically telling the crew, you know, this thing is a piece of junk, man. I cannot do nothing when I hit the accelerator. All I hear is this nice calm voice. You got what you got, man. Just bring it on home in one piece. And I'm like, what? And actually, it kind of motivated me, you know, to, okay, yeah, you got what you got. Just bring it home.
Yeah. And Davey was very motivated. I know a few times I moved a couple of people on the first few races I got into, and the next week I was at the signing thing down there, and they're like, oh, here comes Earnhardt. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, you moved such and I said, well, Dave come over the radio and said I had 2 cars in front of me and 4 laps to go, and I need to do something. But you could also tell, you know, when you get a good relationship with somebody so far as over the radio, like when Dave would say, I'm clear, you could hear the urgency in the voice, and you know you had to make a quick move, and instead of clear, you know, you had to really jerk the wheel and get over, because once you let somebody get on you or whatever, it's sometimes then you got to fight for it, you know. And I gotta give a shout out to Dave. Dave and his family came down. I seen him down on pit road.
I did
Saturday,
get a chance.
and
I seen him going by. I didn't get a chance to talk to him.
And
but
it's
Jordan did come by my pit.
Yeah.
Jordan spotted for me a lot, and some wins out here.
Jordan's a good kid.
Yeah.
I mean, he ain't a kid no more. But
no, he's not a kid, but you know, Jordan used to do all my graphics.
Mm-hmm.
He did all my cars. I'd go up to his dad's shop just to go hang with Jordan, you know, in the graphics room, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan was always good.
Yeah, and they're all doing well over there. I know I haven't been over to see him, but it's a tough deal, man. When you get somebody that's your friend and they've gone through this dramatic change in life, and you know, it's like, you know, how do you, just a difficult thing. But I'm glad he's, you know, doing well, and man, a great support system, right? Because I mean, when nobody wants to be in that position,
No.
nobody wants to have to do those
No.
things, but you do because it's your family.
That's right.
But not everybody does, you know. There's a lot of people. So I gotta shout out to the whole family for
Oh
that.
yeah, I mean
That's a big deal. You know?
that's strong. I mean that takes a lot of strength.
Yeah, and Debbie even told me, you know, sometimes she still has, you know, PSD, you know, from, you know, she was here the night when Davey got hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that, you know, I haven't seen Aaron. Did Aaron get hurt in that wreck last Saturday?
I don't think so.
I didn't
talked to
think
his
so
brother
either.
Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I didn't see him get out of the car right away, and it didn't look like he was moving around a whole lot. So
I think
it's a shame.
Chris took the harder hit. It looked like
It did. But I seen he got out because he slung the steering wheel. He was mad.
It looked like Aaron, when he got on the gas, the car just didn't turn.
I
just saw the replay.
It was, but so man, the thing is so quick, right?
Yeah.
Things happen so fast. It looked like they all kind of got sideways coming off the corner, and somebody touched a little bit.
Yeah, I just saw the replay, and I'm sure that they probably open wheels. They probably locked together, and then what's that you're doing?
Yeah. So who all helps you with the truck?
Austin and Rodney. And
Oh,
then
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
yeah. And then I have Alan and Gabe, and then my dad and Gene Nichols, and Chris Roberts helps too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So where
You're
you
doing
keep
good there. Now
the
you're
truck
doing
at?
good.
In Hampton, it's Sean Blue's old shop.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
with the samples and Gene.
Yeah. I don't know. Does sample not help anybody?
No, he does.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
helping everybody.
Yeah, he helps us too.
I mean, he helps. I mean, Doug helps everybody, and Doug is probably one of the nicest guys on pit road, to be honest. I mean,
Andrea said in her race moms.
Oh yeah, and my race moms, which is Alan and Gabe's wives, Andrea and Dawn. Yep, they hang out in the trailer with me.
Have you? I heard the trucks. You had to get past the feeling of the truck wanting to. Feels like it wanting to roll over. Have you got past that feeling? Have you really felt that?
I have almost flipped it once.
Have you? Yeah.
Um,
Trucks probably flip as much as the carts used to.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen some nasty truck flips.
yeah.
Of course, we almost saw a super street flip, but
Yeah. They're a lot more top heavier than.
I mean, yeah, y'all are sitting way in the air. You're top heavy. Y'all run the same tires as the super streets.
Mhm.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
It's- But I tell you what, when the trucks are going, you get a good feel that it's a good race. I mean, the trucks
yeah.
Some good race.
And it's good to see the truck count kind of picked up from the
Yeah.
last
Oh, yeah.
couple of years, and even the U cars too. You know.
It dropped and it came back and it
Mhm.
dropped off. Now it's coming back again. I know some couple of them, like Rick Powell, he can't run every race.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Japan right now. So,
But
but I
it's-
think he said he'll be back next season. So,
Yeah, I don't think he can run a whole season. I think he's gonna be gone most of the season or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's not much you can do about that.
Yeah.
But
No.
but it's fun to watch all those guys race each other. I mean, those top three guys or four guys. I mean, those
Yeah.
are guys that sort of beat.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun because you watch. You got Chris, Hunter, and Rick when he's here. Then you have her. You have Bill Wallace
Mm-hmm.
and
Donald.
back there and Chris Backdoor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like all of y'all are back there fighting for third, fourth in that area.
Mm-hmm.
The other three are up there battling. There's like two battles on the racetrack.
Right. Yeah.
You're like, do I watch this? Do I watch them? Because you never know what to expect.
Well, we know where he's watching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's watching up front.
Yeah. He's watching Chris and Hunter.
He's watching up
But
front.
man, I tell you, you got to give a shout out to Chris Bechtel this weekend. I mean, when I seen he was putting the cylinder head on Friday night, and I was
I
like,
seen him walking around with a manifold or a header
Yeah.
through the pits, and I'm like, if Chris had a good night, with nothing broke,
right. But I mean, he ran third, fourth all night.
he
and
ran
up
good the whole
third.
race. Yeah.
And really, kind of stayed within distance of the leaders. It wasn't like he was way out to lunch. I was
No.
quite. Maybe he put an illegal motor in it.
That's what I think.
Yeah, that's
Maybe borrow Rick House motor.
the big motor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
borrow Rick
Rick
House
wasn't
motor.
here.
Yeah.
We know he didn't borrow no motor from Cortland. Just saying.
No, he did not.
But no, Chris, if you watch, good run last man. You did
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
For all the
no,
work
for
you
sure.
put in, you did good.
For sure. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, it is what it is. The first part of the season, it didn't seem that he was that fast, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, it seems, especially, seems he stepped his game up.
Yeah.
I don't know who's helping him over there, but and I don't know how the hell he does it sometimes. Some bitch doesn't ever stop either.
I don't know how he keeps going. Between that and the Pro 6, he's always.
And then he's Sundays he's out here doing the
he's
carts.
always working on them things. It's like.
Yeah, well, I don't know how many motors he went through in the Pro 6 this year.
Oh yeah, it's like he works on them all week long. Gets to the track, he works on them all the way up until it's time to go racing.
Yeah, and I don't think the Pro 6 this year has been quite as good. I know the first year he came out last year. I mean,
Yeah.
I think he out-qualified me once or twice there, and we ran together some.
Yeah.
I mean, he was doing well, actually. I think one time he outran me, and I was like, man. I think Brad Adams was helping. I was like, Brad, you need to quit helping him. What's Jack talking about? Need to make sure spark plug on the show.
Spark plug on the show. Come on, Sally.
Can't believe he ran that good. Well, I can't believe he ran that good.
Jack, shouldn't you be having like a nice drink right now?
I know, right? Ain't you
Looking out
on
at
in
the
the middle of
water.
the sea?
You have
I think
nothing
he's
better to
in
do
Port-
than to watch us.
I know you're in Puerto Rico, I think, somewhere, having a nice drink. I haven't heard. I take Kyle Bonsignore said he was going to be on at 7:15, but we haven't seen him. So, otherwise, we'll just keep shooting shit.
Alright.
Now, Robbie, let's talk about your night.
Okay.
You were on cloud nine. I know we sort of touched on that.
Yeah.
How long was this in the works? I mean, you had kind of given me a hint, and I sort of figured that something was coming a couple months back.
It was mentioned, I would say maybe June, March, May. It was kind of, it had been brought up, and I said, I'd love to drive a car. I mean, anybody who drives a race car, I'd love to go.
Love to try.
But with Sammy, I'm like, right now I'm focused on your car. I want to get you. We built that car over the winter, so I said, I want to get you dialed in to where
Well, I think you got that.
I can't race and concentrate on you too. So we did that, and then we won one or two, and then it's like, still want to drive a car, and I'm like. Yeah, I was like, we'll work on it. It was an off week, or we had a long week off, so we rolled the other car, out. It had been sitting over the side of the road. We rolled it out, and took the old body off, put a new body on it, and then we just kind of pushed it back and just kind of left it there. And Sammy had the motor on the floor. We sent it off, and Marty went through the motor, and I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, it's getting real now, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it is, and then. He sent me a text one night, the job I'm working on, sometimes I work on godly hours, and he sent me a text. Marty's up there, setting the time and motors in it, running and all that. He's like, all right, it's getting realer. And then the whole house thing, and I said, man, I love it, but I want to get this house done.
Yeah. Well,
I did that, and then he said, okay, it's time to go now. I'm like, all right. I was like, we got a lot of work to do, so like I say, we spent all last week wrapping the car, throwing the springs back in it, getting it set back up. And I did make one mistake. I just took the shock. We took the old shocks off. We took them out the car. They were inside of it. I said, just put them back on. I'll be fine. And you saw it. And I said, no, I wish I'd have put new ones on.
Especially for $90-some.
Yeah, I mean, them things are just wore out, and you go in a corner, I could feel the front end bouncing around.
I started to take a video and send it to you afterwards, so you know.
I really saw it on the replay. When I watched the replay Sunday morning, I was like, wow, that thing was bouncing.
Oh, it was.
So I didn't feel that bad in the car, but oh my god.
Yeah. There was a couple times, I guess, if you just arced it real good, you didn't hit the bump too bad, and it wasn't
that
too
was
bad.
the only really mistake that I made as far as the car being ready,
and then tighten it up just a tick.
I did that all day when we got here. We set it up on the tires that were on it from last year, the last race. That's all we had, you know. So I got here, you know. Of course, I got 4 new ones. And,
Jackson,
I got
one
you,
mistake.
Jack, one mistake. But I did not get lapped. Did not get lapped. But
Hey, we got Kyle on. Let's come back.
okay,
to
yeah,
Jack.
we'll go ahead.
Let's see. Hey, Kyle, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
us? Yeah, I got you.
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Can you? All right. So how you doing, man? Where are you traveling to?
Yeah, I got you. I actually got to do some running around and picking up and dropping off vehicles. Long story, but I'm in the car for the next, I don't know, 15 minutes or so.
Okay. All right. So you come out to Langley and you won here at Langley. How was that?
It was great. Obviously, everybody likes to win, but it was definitely what we needed as a team. We had a pretty rough season up to that point, and it was right at the beginning of the 4-race stretch that we just ended. So it was really good I mean, I've always liked racing at Langley. We've always run really well there. Last year, we got stuck on pit road, so we didn't have the finish that I think we could have had. But in any racetrack, it's good. I've always really liked going to Langley. It's a beautiful facility. I wish it was a little bit cooler when we go there in the summer, but take what you can get.
Right. So Kyle, give us a little bit of background. I personally don't know a whole lot about you. How long you been in racing? How'd you get started?
So I actually got, I guess, when I was 5 brothers, uncles, go-kart industry. They built motors, sold go-karts, parts, all that stuff. And naturally, that started when and it kind of progressed from there. You know, we went to USAC midgets and then some super late stuff, and then kind of settled in the modified area because I drove once, which I was hooked after that. So sorry, I might not have the best service.
Yeah, it's kind of going in and out. But is this your own team, or are you driving for somebody?
Well, everything that you guys saw at Langley was all my team. So I actually do drive for somebody else in the Tri-Track series, a different modified series, which we're running this weekend at Stafford at the fall final. But other than that, any of the wheel and modified tour events, that's my car, my team. So it's really gratifying when you can win a race like that with all of your own equipment and strategy and, you know, all the effort that goes into just getting to the track.
Yeah, no, for sure. When you do it yourself, it's 10 times more gratifying than just showing up in somebody else's equipment. I mean, either way, a win is still a win. Little Astro beside your name saying you got to win, you know, there's nothing compares to that.
Yeah. No, you're right. Absolutely.
So do you have plans to, are you happy just running the modifieds? Or you plan on like maybe doing something else?
I've got, 3 kids. I have my own business, and that's, really how I can afford to have my own team in the modifieds. But right where I'm at with the amount of races on the schedule and the amount of time that I have to take off of work, that's pretty much tapped out for me. And then still be able to have a family life. And so anything more than that, I really don't, not that I have no desire to do, but it would be really tough on me. And honestly, I mean, racing modifieds is a lot of fun. You still race with guys that they race because they enjoy the competitiveness and really there's no other way to describe it other than just hard-nosed short track racing. You can drive into somebody and move them out of the way, they move you out of the way, and you guys can keep going. There's no, like, oh, the nose got bent down and now the car is, 3/10 off. It's not as aero sensitive. So it's it's the most pure form of of open wheel racing left, I think, other than, I mean, sprint cars. So I don't have any desire to do anything different. I'm just fine racing modifieds the rest of my career. So.
No, I never thought about that. So I guess will you just push somebody down in the corner is about, because I mean, obviously you guys are open wheel, so you have to be very careful, but I guess you could just kind of push somebody in the corner faster than they want to go.
Yes. On entry, the unspoken rule is that, you know, you don't really push anybody on entry unless it was done to you first, but it's, you know, center of the corner and then on exit is free game. So it's nice because you can do it and not really upset the car in front of you that much. Even if it's just a little bit every lap, it might be just enough to get them to use their tires more than you are. And then 10, 15 laps later, you've got a much better car than they do. So there's a lot of different ways to get it done. That's one of them. So yeah, it's a huge benefit because you got the Nerf bars on the side of the car, the big rear bumpers, the front bumpers that usually hold up to a lot. So it's all part of modified racing. You don't want to use it all up at once because you don't get to change front bumpers during the race, and you don't want to make too many people angry because then you get used up as well. So that's it all kind of works, and you don't have to do it too much. Once you get the respect of the competitors, it's not a common thing, but when you go to a track like we just went to this past weekend at Riverhead, you use a lot of your front bumpers. So it's just part of it.
Now, where's your team based out of?
So the car and all the equipment is based out of Canterbury, Connecticut at my crew chief shop, Cam McDermott, because it's pretty much centrally located for 80% of the races that we run throughout the year. Logistically, it just makes sense. And he's as close to full-time as you can get working on the cars and getting them prepared. So that's where it's based out of. But I actually I live in North Carolina, so just moved back. So it's every race is a distance for me, but that just shows how committed I am to running the Wheel and Modified Tour.
How many races you guys run a season?
This year was supposed to be 19, but we had one race that actually got canceled because it was like a 90% chance of rain. And there was no other weekend that track and the series could make it up. So they just ended up canceling it. So that got trimmed down to 18, which is a lot for us. As you know, everybody's part-time racer, full-time, you know, something else. So it's hard to take that much time off of work. But hopefully next year schedule makes it a little bit easier for everybody. We want to race. You got to do it within reason. That's all.
So you're traveling 5 hours plus every weekend then, or every race.
Yeah. So when we raced at Langley, I actually woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, left at 5:30 in the morning, got to the track right around 11 when everybody was getting ready to park, and then if I didn't win, the plan was to drive back that night, but we ended up winning, so had a couple of celebratory drinks and stayed at the hotel that night and then drove home the next morning. So
I don't think anybody blames you.
I don't know if I ever had a beer that tasted so good. So
had you won here before?
No, so the last time that we won a tour race was actually well documented, as the NASCAR Roots social media team pointed out the exact number of days, but it was almost 5 years ago was the last win that we had as a team. So I don't know if they were doing that as like a, hey, good job, or why did it take so long, but I'll take what I can get, I guess.
Well, it depends on how you look at it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it'll motivate you for the next one.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. That's as long as it doesn't take anywhere near as long, I'll be more than happy. So
Hey Kyle,
yeah,
I'm a crew chief, part-time driver in a support division. I watched your race from turn 3 and 4.
Yeah.
The guy in front, y'all just let him check out and take off, and then you started closing back in. When did you exactly know that you thought you had a legitimate shot to win that race?
So as you know, if you run at Langley, which I'm sure you do, starting on the outside there is never good. And we started on the outside on the initial start and on the restart, before the end of the race. And I knew I had a really good car, and I knew that the 64 was going to be the car that we had to beat. But towards the end of the first half of the race, with about 20 to go in that, that first segment, we really started catching them a lot, especially in lap traffic.
Yeah.
And to me, that was like hey, if we can make our car just a little bit better, which we knew what we had to do that, then the second half of the race, which was going to be a little bit shorter, was going to be, we could catch them faster and maybe, make some quick work of getting around them. But of course, never works out like you planned. We wanted to pass them a lot earlier. We took it right down to the wire, and I realized how much better we were in lap traffic than he was. And luckily there was a lot of lap traffic at the end of the race. But I would say with about 15 to go, I realized like we could catch him. And I was trying to figure and plot in my head where the best part of the track would be to pass him, where he couldn't try and cross me over, or leave myself vulnerable for a lap car to move me up the track too much and get too upset. So I would say with about 15 to go, I knew that I was going to be there in time. And then with 10 to go, I had caught him, and I was just trying to pick the right spot to make the pass. So it was hard because a lot of the lap traffic there was really sideways, and you got to be careful not to get collected with them. So it was definitely, it's a good feeling knowing you got the best car at the end of the race, but it's tricky because you don't want to go too soon and you don't want to go at the wrong time. So, but it was, I would say 15 to go, I knew I had the better car, and 10 to go, I was just trying to make the right move.
Yeah, I noticed you changed your entry into 3, and you really started gaining on him.
Yeah, I opened it up a little bit. It seemed to be able to roll better in the center of the corner, way better than him. And that was when I really started to gain on him. So.
Yeah, you definitely made the race good at the end. And my wife, she did like your car. She likes the way your car looks. She kept commenting the whole race. She said, "You watch out for him. He's coming back."
Yeah, my car, I got the pink, the blue, because we did the last race of the year when we ran the Southern Modified Tour before it got kind of, taken out of the picture, and now it's just a Northern Modified Tour. It was always at Charlotte Motor Speedway on the front stretch track, and it was like in October, so everybody ran the breast cancer awareness schemes. And my oldest, she's now 13, loved the pink on the car, so of course we had to keep it. And now we try and get as much of it on there as possible, because a lot of the spectators like it because it's easy to see, and it does look pretty good, I gotta admit. So
they still run Charlotte in October?
No, they did away with that race. It was I'm not gonna lie, that was a mess of a race, because that track on the front stretch was tiny, and it was really hard to pass, and it was like Bowman Gray, basically.
I think it's worse than Bowman Gray. It's almost, when you say like the front stretch at Charlotte, it's like it's not just flat. It's almost like it cakes the other way.
It's too. I mean, it feels like it's going the other way, and it's too narrow for our cars. You need to be able to carry speed in the corners, and it's like way too much like a paper clip.
Yeah, no, for sure. Hell, I think about anything, it is pretty narrow. It's a one groove track, and it seems like sometimes for the backstretch sometimes can be a trouble spot.
Oh yeah.
And the wall doesn't give their own pit road.
No, and it is not smooth on that backstretch either. It's pretty bumpy.
Right. Well, I think you cross over to asphalt. I think the pit boxes, ain't they asphalt? I think.
That's all concrete, and then you go back onto the asphalt. Yeah, it was very tricky. We only did it once, but it was very tricky.
Okay. Yeah. We've been there for a couple of the races there, because I think they were Thursday night, I think, or they did before the.
Yeah. Those were on Thursday evenings. Yep.
Yeah. Well, Kyle, we appreciate taking some time out of your day and spending with us. This might be the first interview we've had somebody that was actually driving. They've been in a car riding, but
Yeah.
absolutely driving and doing a video interview. I'm glad you didn't get in a wreck, because then we wouldn't have any evidence.
Yeah, no, don't report this to the authorities, and I think we'll be all right.
Hey, you're a professional.
I can multitask.
Yeah. Congratulations and good luck, man.
No, thank you. Sorry it took so long to get on the show, but I appreciate you having me.
No problem. Thanks, buddy.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Those modifieds, man. Imagine all the tire and then the motor.
Yeah.
I'd just be so leery about wheel hopping with somebody and being so. Well, even the modifieds here. I mean, you kind of have the same thing.
I was in the corner watching, and for the first part of the race, I'm like, it's kind of boring. They're just going around in circles. I said, yeah, but they're waiting for the segment. Then they're going to pick it up. And like you said, he dropped back. And, my wife, she loved the car. I guess the paint. I would say it's the paint. She said, just keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him. And then when they got back going, he started, walking his way to the front. The closer he got, then we saw him change his line into 3. He would come in a little high, arc up, and then shoot.
Oh, really?
Down
That's unusual, because most people was going to do that in 1 instead of 3.
Yeah, he was doing it in 3, and he was starting them. You could see him making up time. Then when he did get under the guy, they come into 3. They did kind of bump tires a little bit.
Yeah.
So he got by him. When they came back around, coming off a 4, the guy put his right front tire right in his rear bumper bar. I mean, he just went up, just gave him a tire shot. I was like,
down in 1 and 2, wasn't it, on the same?
I know he did it. He may have done it there too, but he did it here. And I was like, okay, but I didn't know that it's been so while he had won.
And then 5 years, what did it say, to the day or something like that?
They actually made a good race out of it in the end. And to me, to watch 2 cars battle. A lot of people want to see 5, 6 cars battling, for a I can find a good race. If I look in the field, I'll find a good race.
Right.
Like watching Paige going around chasing Bill, and she was
right, and that's fun, right?
I mean,
when you got somebody to chase, or you're trying to figure out how to get by them, that's fun. Whether it's for first place, second place, 10th place, that's fun.
Yeah.
She's had a bad year. You want to see somebody like her, not just because you're a girl, but because you did have you've had some wrecks, stuff that probably shouldn't have happened.
Well, I mean, the spotter.
To see somebody get a good finish.
Yeah.
I
mean, I was excited to see you were. I'm like, man, must have fired the crew.
The Super Street race. Wesley Newell just came back. Didn't go out all season. He ended up 6th.
Now you ain't gonna say he's better than Jared, are you?
No, I'm not gonna. I'm just.
I mean, the stats speak for
Well,
themselves.
no, because every time he go in the corner, he would lock the left front tire. He hit the brake so hard, the left front tire was smoking. I'm like, what in the world?
Oh, really?
But
yeah, I did see that a couple of times.
yeah, his first time back, he ended up with a 6th place finish. You want to see, people that deserve to finish good. I mean, I've been in that boat.
Oh yeah.
I've been in every part of the field. I've been, in the back. I've been in the middle, and I've been up front. When you're in the back, it sucks.
It does.
A lot of times in the middle sucks, but okay, maybe we'll get better, and then when you're in the middle and you start getting in that front mode.
But it's so much harder from that 10th spot to get to that 3rd spot, right?
From 10th to 5th, you get in that 10th to 5th, say, okay, all right, and then you start knocking on that top 5. And when you get that top 5, you start getting pumped up, then you have a bad night, then it kind of brings you back down. You just got to keep going forward. Then when it's top 3 and you're out there contending for the wins, and that's when it gets good.
Yeah, especially if it's tight, right?
Yeah.
When you get to race each other and it's you're trying all you can to get to second or get to his bumper and maybe move him a little bit.
It took me 4 or 5 years to figure out how to qualify at this place.
Man,
it took me a long time.
I don't know about for you, but I've had times like you don't even try and you qualify real well, and then you try real hard and then and then you think, man, that was a good lap. And you're like,
that was me.
And it's like it's for me, and even still, it was just hard to find some consistency in qualifying.
When I first started running, my mom would come here and else when they were giving out the free pass, your wife or somebody like that. Well,
I forgot what it was called.
And she come in and she goes, how'd you qualify? I said, top 10. She said, I know, I can hear you. What do you mean? She said, I'm at there getting the ticket. I know when you're qualifying. I can hear the tire squalling. I can hear you. And I'm in there like, Mom, I'm driving the crap out of it. I just don't know why I can't get a good lap. And then one day I go out there and I qualify, and I'm like, man, that lap sucked. It's like, that didn't even feel good. And I looked up at the board, you know, it was like top 5, and I'm like,
what the
well,
hell?
how is that possible?
Right,
You know?
right, yeah.
And then I started to slowly catch on, and then, you know, finally, once you hit it, you know, this place, once you hit it,
You got it. It just kind of sticks with you.
I was searching for it all Saturday night, you know.
Well, I think yours was so loose, and then the front end not being able to
Right, yeah.
sort of stick. Although if it stuck, it might have been worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have made the looseness worse.
It might have. I'm gonna say it's 40% car, 60% driver, because I did hit some laps where I could go roll in, roll through the corner, get on the gas, and keep it straight.
But you had to arc it, really get it turned
Yeah,
already.
yeah, and I could do it for 2 or 3 laps, and then I would do the same thing, but then the car wouldn't act, and that's I had to say, you know, the shocks, or you know, maybe I hit the bump just right, and it made it, you know, unloaded the front or whatever, or unloaded the rear, whatever it done.
That's why I was shocked when you took the cone. I was like, oh, damn, as loose as that thing is, I can't believe he took the cone.
Me and DJ talked about it. He said, I'm in 5th. He said, if 2 guys take the cone, which I figured they would, but they didn't. If 2 guys take it, stay at the bottom. If 1 guy takes it, you gotta go. I'm like,
well, I can agree. I mean, because you did, because I think didn't one time did you stay on the bottom one time?
no, I took it both times. I took it one time. My car got spun in 3 and 4. And the next time, nobody, the same car took it. Colby, I think it was Colby, and then I took it again. And
because sometimes the caution comes out and those guys are in front of you, then they're in front of you, then you go from 5th to 8th. You know,
it kind of actually worked out. I learned a lesson. I kind of messed up in 1 and 2 the first time on that restart, and then the next time I didn't mess up. You know, Gordon had me beat by the time we got to 3 and 4 when the caution came back out. So, but you know, the second time I was beside him at you know, when the caution didn't come out, but when the accident happened, and I was there, still with him. You know, DJ, you know, get a good run over here, you got him. You know,
right. Well, and I will say too, when a car is loose, it's not as bad on the outside, although you got to worry about somebody hitting you or touching you, and then that could get you real loose or get you spun. Yeah. Because you're not making as hard of a turn because you're on the outside.
Yeah. So it's still had fun though.
Oh yeah, I mean I haven't seen you more excited in a long time.
And, you know, the funny thing is, you know, I wrecked the car and I kind of felt dumb because, well, how you spin out on the straightaway? But then I seen how the left front was just demolished. And I was okay. So, you know, I spun around. I said, I'm going to go in the pits. And as soon as I spun around and got going, I said, oh, the left front's killed. That's how I spun. And as I pulled down the pit, steam started coming. I said, the radiator was cracked or something. We hadn't found that yet. But I pulled back there, and my wife, my daughter, one of the crew members, James, you know, they're coming up, you all right? You're all right? That's a hard hit. I'm fine. You know, I get out of the car, you know, you sure you're all right? I said, I'm fine. Well, why are you smiling? Just happy to be
How long had it been since you'd been in the car?
I think 5 years.
Since you had raced. I think you had come out and practiced a couple times.
Actually, that same car, when Sammy bought it last year, he bought it in October maybe or something like that. We brought it out in November just to run some laps and see what kind of work we thought we would have to do with it. Sammy got in, he ran 5 or 6 laps, and he says, all right, I know what we got to do, you know. It was just one of them deals. Chuck, you know, let us come in here. Chuck was getting ready to leave. He's like, just make it quick, you know. And Sammy come in and got out. Said, yeah, I know we got to tear it apart, you know. And I'm like, oh, okay. He says, you know what? You get in and you tell me. I'm like, you ain't got to tell me twice, man. But as actually racing, I filled in for Sammy like 5 years ago in the Grand Stock when he broke his foot.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
The good thing about that one, that was my old car. So when I got in it, I knew what to feel. And then within 5 laps, I'm like, okay, yeah, this, that, there, it's there. It's
like an old pair of shoes.
But yeah, just the track being a little more worn, you know. So that was good.
Now, we talked about a little bit after the race. What's the big difference or maybe even driving or setup wise between the Grand Stocks and the Street Stock or Super Streets?
Super Street, you can you're kind of limited as to what springs you can use on the front. You can use a few, not as many as you could in a grand stock. You can't run lead in a super street. So, you can't use lead. It's hard to, balance the car. The car's not really exactly balanced, but you're kind of in the ballpark. They say they're close, but maybe it's the tire difference. The super street tires are like her tires, and the trucks, there's a hard spot right in the center. I mean, with the grand stock tires, they got softer compound. It just feels a lot more grippy.
So you feel like the super street is just on top of the racetrack instead of in the track?
Yeah, it's kind of, you run the air pressure is lower in the super street than you would a grand stock, or I do anyway, the air pressures that I ran. But still, when they build up, it's like it still gets on that center part to where, you're riding a lot on that center part, where a grand stock, you're still kind of riding on the whole patch. You're not kind of riding on a hard center. It's kind of even all the way across.
So what's more funner to drive? I mean, but is a super street or grand stock, which do you prefer?
I'll tell you, I don't know. I had so much fun Saturday night. I'll say a super street. Not many people get out of a wrecked car smiling, but I've had fun in all of them really at some point. But the biggest thing about me running Saturday night was I had no pressure. Well, I put pressure on myself because I'm at home Friday night. I'm home Saturday morning. I'm thinking.
Did you sleep Friday night?
I actually slept good.
Did you really?
I didn't sleep good, I guess because I've been working all week. But at 6 a.m., I woke up and I could not go back to sleep. And the whole time I was thinking, try not to go out there and make yourself like an idiot. That was I think my biggest fear.
Really?
Come out here and just totally bomb.
This is a good example. Look at all the experience Robbie has, right? You would think he would have confidence, right?
Right.
But he still has doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, don't think that like when you or I we have doubt in ourselves or a doubt and things are going to happen.
Yeah.
People would have the same. They may not talk about it, but they do.
I mean, I tell everybody, like I say, most 40% cars, 60% me. I still was figuring out. I was running the race. I was behind Gordon Weeks, who ended up winning. I'm running fifth between Gordon Weeks and Danny Harrell.
Well, all y'all were fairly close, right?
I mean, I'm in a group of guys that can win on any given race, and
if you take Sammy out.
Yeah, well, if you took Sammy out.
I mean, I don't know how much Sammy was riding in front, but he did get a little ways out.
And honestly, in qualifying, I blew it in 3. And I said, you just killed this lap, dude. You're going to be starting in like 10th. And come to find out, I was only just a little tick over a 10th off the outside pole. And I was like, now I'm out there, I'm like, what if I hadn't screwed up? Where could I have been? Sammy turned a great lap, but could I have been right there with him? That'd been something.
You'd have been close.
That'd have been something to knock the car.
Because what Sammy run a 51 or a 56?
A 50 something. I think the outside was a 60 or a 61.
Yeah, and then
I ran a 72.
Right. Yeah.
And killed it down there.
Oh yeah. All I could hear was tires.
When I went in the corner, the back end started coming around and said, up too hard. And then it just kept coming. And that's what I was thinking. Oh, you made yourself like an idiot. And I just patted the gas a couple times. And when I hit it the second time, I felt the car hook. So I just kept my foot going down. And it was still sideways off of 4, but I was like, wow, to turn a lap like that.
Although maybe that's the difference. See, if he'd have screwed up, people would expect him to do better. You and me, they'd just like, really no big deal. That's just it, right? Would have been like, wouldn't have bothered us a bit.
Right.
Whatever.
But like I said, I learned a lot about super streets. But like the first practice, we put the new tires on. I go out there. I had to put these laps on these tires. I go out there and I'm running. I'm trying to come off the corner. The car's just laying on the right front, and it just would not come back up, and it's wanting to go right to the wall.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I couldn't even get a halfway decent lap that I thought.
Well, I don't think speed-wise you weren't bad though.
Some of the track complained that you're not running fast enough, and I said the car is not right. Something's wrong. Let me look at it. And come to find out, when the new tires, it unloaded the sway bar. sway bar wasn't doing nothing. You know, it was going in, it was just letting it roll over on the right front, and it was staying there. So, of course, then I come in and I cut the fan on. The fan wasn't working for some reason. The wire broke or something. It was working when we left the shop, but it wasn't working that day. So it overheated. I got over there. It was pumping water out of it. I'm like, oh God, the motor. You know, I'm done. You know, the time I get out the car, everybody's under the hood, you know, and I'm like, hey, where's that Sammy? You know, it's like, no, you got to get back out there. You got to go back, put more laps on these tires. And luckily, you know, we found the wire. The fan wasn't working. And the radiator cap, one of the radiator caps, it has two on it. One of them was bad. So,
Successful night.
Yeah, I said,
I mean, in the end, it was a bad night. I mean, you had to load everything up, but it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. It wasn't a great night, but as far as finish wise, but it was a great night inside for me. And
did you doubt yourself before practice or anything?
I think I was more worried, kind of leery, you know. Well, first practice, I kind of had to just let everybody go because I mean, I had 4 new tires. Yes, you got to put laps on them. Well, I'm no dummy. I'm not going to run this thing as hard as I can.
Right.
Would you?
No.
Would you?
No.
You're a smart girl. He would.
He would.
Right. Yeah, let me put a number on the board.
He'd be out there trying to set the daggone pole with 40 tires.
I'd be like, this thing's terrible.
So I had to kind of let him go, but I'm out there riding, and you know, luckily everybody didn't practice that much, so I'm just kind of riding, and I'm feeling, and I felt that right front, and I'm like, something's wrong. I know what to do, and we adjusted it then. I went out second practice, we adjusted it then. Before qualifying, I said, give me a little more. Sammy was like, sure. I said, give me a little more. Then I qualified, and then I sat there, and the outside pit course ran so late. I'm sitting there thinking, do I put more? I want more. I want more. I want more. Do I go? I change a rear spring. But it's cool.
you were thinking that much?
I was thinking, you know, I'm like,
I won't think it. Well, how do you on those things? How do you? Is there a wedge bolt in them? Is there a way to adjust?
There is in the back. It has jack and bolts in the back.
Okay.
I was thinking maybe more spring on the left rear for more forward bite, or just tightening that sway bar down just a little more. And then, but it's cooling off. I'm like, okay, it's cooling off. Track's gonna tighten up. We run after late models, 100 laps. About lap 10, I said, I should have put that adjustment in there.
The first couple laps I seen you go by, I was like, and it's funny, I had mentioned to you, because it was qualifying as loose as you were. I knew it would tighten up, or I thought it would tighten up some. I didn't know if it would tighten up that much. No, because that was pretty loose.
Yeah, it was loose, but a lot of that was me driving it. When we kind of got spread out, Gordon got ahead of me a little bit, and then I got into a rhythm, and I caught back up to him. But I think by then, you know, the gas and the shocks had gotten hot, and
well, I could see you could catch him, but getting by him it seemed like as loose as you were was going to be difficult.
Yeah. I got up to him. I couldn't really get turned. I didn't have enough to turn the car down to get that good run. And I got up to him, and then I tried to do that. The car would upset, and I kind of dropped back.
Yeah.
And then I got Danny Harrell lurking behind me. And,
yeah, he wasn't gonna make it easy on you, was it?
With Danny Harrell, you know, Danny's gonna move you, but he's gonna do it respectfully.
Right. Well, I was thinking the same thing.
You know, with Danny behind you, you know you're gonna get the bumper.
Well, yeah.
But Danny will do it respectfully, you know, which I'll deal with it. I'm good with that.
Right. Because we would do the same thing, right? In some ways, right? Yeah. There's a difference between moving somebody and then just knocking them out of the way.
Right. Yeah, it's fun, but to even compete with those 4 or 5 drivers that, you know, they're up front every race. They're
right. I mean, I think everybody's won a race that you were with. I think
they have won. They're all
Danny's won one. They're all 1 or 2.
No, not this year.
Oh, he hasn't?
No, only Gordon,
Sammy,
and Landon Abbott have won this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But you know, like Dale Nichols, when I'm crew chiefing for Sammy and Dale Nichols goes out to qualify, he's my biggest worry. Because Dale Nichols can put a lap down at any given time, and he's a threat every week. Gordon's a threat. Danny Harrell's a threat. I mean, they're all Colby.
Right.
Colby's getting really great. He's really great at qualifying. If he ever gets the car to rotate the center, he's going to be deadly. You know.
Yeah, because he was on the outside pole, wasn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. Or I think third. He was third. I started behind him. I was 5th.
Okay.
So he was third. think he's having a little trouble rolling the center, but if he gets it figured out, I mean, Colby's going to be bad fast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those guys are a threat any week. You know, when Jimmy Atkins and Landon come back, they're a threat.
Right.
And then you've got these guys that are right there knocking on the door. You know, the 16 Joe Stubb. You know, these kids that are starting to see them come around. They're starting to get better. And
it's good to see these new kids come in, right? Because we need those, right?
Right.
Because some of us are getting a little older
Yeah.
and can't do this as long. I mean, we need young people to come in.
Yeah, we need these young kids like her and Stormy Butts.
Stormy Butts, yeah.
I mean,
it's hard to believe that's his real name, right?
and we got these kids in limited late model. We won't talk about them. But,
I know, right? And those kids are putting on a show.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Those kids are terrible.
Jack said can't shut them up for her. Yeah.
Okay, Jack, Paige has the floor. Say what you want. What do you have to talk about?
I don't know.
Well, Austin wanted me to ask you, how long is the track? How big is the track?
I don't know. No idea.
What do you do at the end of the straightaway?
Turn.
Turn?
Yeah.
Turn left?
Yeah.
Turn left,
and
okay.
left, yeah. At the CHKD event Sunday,
Yes.
a parent came up to me and asked me how long the track was. And Trey, I was standing with Trey and Brad Adams. Trey knew and Brad Adams.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I don't know. I was like, Brad's back there. Brad knows. So I just looked at Brad and he told her, he's like, Paige, you're supposed to know these things. I was like, I don't know, but I knew you knew. So
I'm the driver. I don't have to know those
That's
things, right?
Right.
How was that event? I was going to come, but the cars got wrecked. So was it good?
Yeah, it was really nice. A lot of families, a lot of kids out there. Quite a few cars out there too. But yeah, it was a nice event.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now, do you see some of these young females that are, in carts or bandos look up to you? How does that make you feel? I mean, it's good to see these young girls come up.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And like during like the meet and greets a few weeks ago, like all the little girls wanted to come to me and like would give me a hug and like think it was like the coolest thing ever that a girl driver was out there and stuff like that. My social media girl, I brought her around the racing stuff, and now she'll be in a U car next year.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
Oh, really?
Lacey Hogg. Yeah, and today's her birthday too. So
Happy birthday.
Lacey.
Oh, that's right. I've seen pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. Rob, did you ever have a social media person?
Me?
I was gonna say I never got a social media person.
Yeah, I don't post on social media, so I was like, let me get somebody to do that.
I try to keep social media down to it. I used to be the guy. I would post, I would comment, this and that. I'd go back and forth.
Yeah, but you put some good one-liners out there all the time.
There were some good one-liners last week.
It was.
I got so many messages. What are you talking about? And my poor daughter Taylor, people were texting her. What is your dad talking about? Is there something wrong with him?
I know. Well, look, I seen one. I forget who it was. That was like, "Oh, you got to go watch Jack's show around the 30-minute mark," and I'm like, I forget what happened. I started.
It was Raymond Haynes.
Yeah. So I like pull up the show and I'm getting ready to start to watch it to figure out what the hell he's talking about because I don't know what it. And then it's like, never mind, I'm wrong. I think that's what I messaged you.
I get the messages. What are you talking about? What's up? Just nothing, man. Just being trying to play it off. I did tell a few people, like. But a lot of people knew it. They knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But
you're kind of like me. You like to stir a little, or you like to
make fun. Yeah, I do.
It's fun.
Sometimes I go too far, but then I have learned a lot of times social media, Facebook mainly because if you post something, there's always that one person that goes on. They go on somewhere. They'll Google it or whatever, and just to prove you wrong.
Oh yeah.
And what do you accomplish on Facebook? I mean, you talk smack. Nothing. But no, I do some TikToks. I make TikToks for Sammy sometimes. I'm nothing great or nothing. I just have fun. I'm 53 years old. I gotta have fun. You know?
Absolutely.
But I did want to ask Paige, is your favorite driver female? Your favorite, like, say, higher driver from like a touring division?
I mean, I know it's not your spot.
I know it's not.
Yeah.
I know it's not. I know it's not Danica Patrick. Nobody likes her right at the moment. We won't go into that.
Well, I mean, I like Haley Deegan.
You like Haley? Haley's good.
Yeah.
How about Amber Lynn?
Yeah, I think
Would you like to have her reputation out here?
no. I don't think so. But she's pretty cool.
Yeah.
She's not afraid.
She's something
At
to
all.
watch.
No,
Yeah.
and I love it
Yeah.
though, right? I mean, it gets people talking about them,
Yeah.
and even Haley. Haley doesn't take no shit either, you
No.
know. And I love it, especially if her teammates. She moved him a couple times out of the race when they were running the ARCA series.
Yeah.
There with the
I think
Bill. What's
she's
his name?
struggling with the trucks.
She is.
But I think she ran that She won Xfinity race, and she ran good in that, I think.
Yeah.
I think she's more comfortable in a car than she is, you know. I've heard the trucks they're really unstable.
Well, I haven't really heard that, but I think too. And how can I say this? Bill McAnally.
Yeah.
Kind of told me and Jack that she wants to go too fast. So far as she doesn't want to sort of stay in this class and really learn it and kind of get her craft. She just wants to go from 0 to 100
Yeah.
instead of sort of working her way up. And,
Yeah.
and I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
She did well in won some races in the ARC West. I think is what she raced, which they run a lot of short track stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think it's just taken some time to learn when she's gotten to the truck and these bigger tracks and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I can't remember what team she's in, but she did switch manufacturers because it was with Toyota when she was with Bill McAnally, and then I think she went over to Ford.
Yeah.
So I just think there's a difference. There's probably different people, and you're trying to learn a new truck, and you're probably trying to move a little too fast instead of maybe running some like ARC East and run some bigger racetracks and some of those 1.5 miles and kind of get, because there's a difference, running here to run one of those big tracks. There's a big speed sensation, and some people are not comfortable at that.
Tell Connor and Brendan that.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
They leave from here, go to Daytona.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
but they have a lot of. They've been. She has too, but she's
Yeah.
still young. You
Yeah.
know, and they have a lot more experience or years.
She's come from that motocross background.
Right.
She wasn't brought up in the stock car world.
Right. I mean, she only has a few years of this, and then some people don't think, don't give her credit or Rajay Carruth. I mean, Rajay Carruth. I mean, he's not winning races and stuff. But he's in okay equipment, and he's running okay. He's had a couple of good runs. He had a good run the other week. I think he finished 5th, I think. But this kid only has been doing this for 5 years.
Yeah.
And
that's racing altogether.
Correct.
He didn't start like at here.
He didn't even have sim at home.
No, he didn't start like
his family is from the islands.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gotten to know his parents really well, and I mean, when he got the opportunity, was accepted to go to the combine for Rev Racing, he had never been in a car. His dad called me and see if we could get him in a Legends car, at least so he could just make some laps and know where the steering wheel and the shifter and stuff was. I mean, that's how green he was.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got to put in perspective that these kids only have 5 years where. We've been exposed to stuff most of our life,
right?
And we've just been around it and have a lot of knowledge.
Right.
Where these kids that are, they're waiting until they're 15 to get in or start going. I mean, they're still progressing pretty fast, but I mean, I think sometimes you got to put that in perspective.
Yeah.
So,
all good.
All right. Well,
but nothing beats a Saturday night short track.
No.
Maybe a Friday night. No, Friday night short track. I'd rather do Saturday night.
Yeah, no, for sure. We're very lucky to have a great place to come and race, and have a great place, and honestly, you got to give a shout out to Bill for putting up the money to buy this place and investing in it. Because a lot of people, we see a lot of these tracks, they fold because they haven't invested back into the racetrack.
Every time I talk to Bill every chance I get. I don't talk to him to kiss his butt or nothing. I talk to Bill because me and Bill always asks me, when are you coming back out here?
Mm-hmm.
That's every time is, when are you coming back? When are you coming back? So one night I was walking that scene, he said, same question, man. When are you gonna get out here? I need you out here. I said, Bill, things go right, you might just get your wish here in a few weeks. And his eyes lit up, and he's like, "You're joking, right?" I said, no, you might just get your wish. Chuck came by, after the race was over, and he said, me and Bill were just joking with you about coming back and all that. But no, I mean, they put on they've given us a great racetrack.
Mm-hmm.
And, with the rain delays, yes, I put, okay, let's get it going. I will admit, but I just want to, get the program. Let's go, I hate sitting here waiting. I want to hear noise. I want to see cars. Let's roll, and
Hey, look, Robbie, I think everybody, well, I guess I'll just speak for me. Yeah, you get excited, right?
Yeah.
But that's your personality.
Not as much here lately.
You really have. But I don't think people, how can I say this? I don't think people look at it bad, right? I don't think people think, oh, Robbie's this hothead.
No.
Maybe back in the Grand Stock days, you're a little bit. But
there's a few.
But still, that's your personality, right? And that's what puts people in the stands. We need people like that.
This is the only sport I've ever really, other than some church league softball, this is the only sport I've ever competed in. I didn't play football. I didn't play baseball. I didn't play rec league sports because my mom was out here racing on Saturdays.
That's right.
I had to come to the racetrack with them. They would go in the pits. I wasn't allowed in the pits.
That's right. Back then you weren't.
So they would go in the pits at 2:30 in the afternoon, and I would have to come over here, and I was on my own, I talked to my mom a while back about it, and she said, we were talking about her racing, and she goes, I kind of feel bad because, we went in the pits, and you were just kind of left, Penry. I said, well, I feel bad. I said, look what I've done.
Yeah.
She said, yeah. I said, how many times did the cops bring me to you while y'all were? She said, none.
Right.
My mom come here and race one night, and they run heat races. She won the heat race. They got her wrecked down on the old steel guardrail.
Mm-hmm.
She got out the car. They gave her checker flag. The car wouldn't move because the front clip was about knocked off of it. But she waved the checker flag. This place was packed, these old wooden bleachers. And, they were about to bring the grandstand.
Now, what time frame was that?
Oh, man. If she finds out, she might kill me. I'll say early 80s.
Okay.
82, maybe.
Okay.
So, actually, the car she was driving was a 65 or a 67 Chevelle.
Okay.
So, but, they cheered for her. And then to come to find out when she hit the wall that she cut her ankle on the brake pedal or something. It's a stock brake pedal.
Mm-hmm. You want to back then?
So I go down to the fence, to talk to somebody. Hey, where's my mom at? I want to talk to her and all that. Oh, well, they had to run to the emergency room. She got a little cut on her ankle. She had to get 10 stitches and all that. I was like, okay, so I was watching myself, but I wouldn't have traded. I wouldn't trade it for nothing. I wouldn't. If I could go back and change my childhood, I wouldn't do it. I would just keep going what I had. And I thanked her one night at Southampton, for bringing me to the racetrack when I was in Victory Lane. She started bawling, and I'm like, if it wasn't for you bringing the racetrack, I wouldn't be doing this.
Right.
Probably,
yeah. Now, did you know Robbie's mother raced?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No.
She did.
It's pretty, and she for a good while, right?
She raced for 3 or 4 years, I think. I know I was young, and it was way back. Diane Teal was still racing here. Mm-hmm. That's why my number is 19. She picked 19 because Diane Teal was 19.
Oh, really? Okay.
So she wanted to be run 19. And
we had some female racers back then, and then after them, I think we had. I was here in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, and we had Tanya Miller. I think she come up in 90, 89, I think. And then you had Kathy Mosier. I worked for her husband. Dawn, the Wing King Pinto, raced in the mini stock.
Yeah.
Dawn, I can't remember her last name. But those girls put on a show.
Yeah.
And this was the God's honest truth. This was in the early 90s. There were more people here to watch them than there was the late models.
Right.
That's a fact.
Right.
Robbie can contest to this,
Yes.
I'm sure, because he was probably here at the time.
Yes.
People were here because they were the first race, generally, the mini stocks were.
People say, just the crowd, it's hard to pack these grandstands. There's a lot of seats out there.
Yes.
Way more than what it was when it was wooden bleachers. I've been here and sat shoulder to shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got many splinters from the old wood bleachers. And, you know, that outside pit was packed, and then you had that down in there. But I've seen some of the great fights over the years. Like I say, I've basically been coming to this track since probably 79 or 80. You know,
Okay.
that's a long time. I've been to other tracks, but I always end up back here. You know, there's no place like home. And technically, this is my home now because I live 10 minutes down the road. So.
That's got to be so nice.
It was really nice Saturday night.
It was. Oh.
Well, I guess that's it. Hey, good luck rest of the season.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Don't listen to him.
Yeah. If he says
Well, he's
clear.
not watching anyway. So.
If
You got good mirrors in the truck?
Yeah, I do.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
If you're interested in the Super Street, get with us. We can hook you up. I think
You do better
than
than him.
Super Street.
I mean, that would really.
I think you.
Yeah,
would
it really
do,
hurted Stevens.
I think you would do better than him.
Maybe.
Maybe. You get Caitlin to move back on this side. Caitlin did good when she didn't have bad luck.
Yeah,
So
Yeah. And you got a good food sponsor, I'm sure, right?
I do. Yeah.
So he's still going to be here next year?
No,
No?
this is last season.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's my mom and dad's last season in the concession stand.
Dang, I heard that. I was hinting that so I could find out.
Yeah,
our food sponsor is selling their building. Hopefully they're talking about moving to another one.
Mm.
Their building is at the end of Messick Point and Pocosin. Well, when it floods, they can't open up. So they're trying to get something. The view is nice there. I mean, because you're on the point. But I think this weekend coming up is their last weekend open, which they closed down for the season. But they're closing a little early. So.
Yeah, I better get the redneck fries while I can, huh?
Mhm.
That's usually what I get.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they'll. I don't know if there's somebody taking over next season or if like Chuck and Bill are just kind of gonna try and manage it.
I've seen the redneck fries on Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, X now, but it's Twitter.
Yeah.
And
But they might still be here.
from a tour and Caitlin Vinci.
Mm.
She come with a car store or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she got somebody to try them, and you know, of course, they did it on.
I know. I tell everybody, I'm like, man, you got. And honestly, and I give you Dad credit for this. Like, what sporting event can you go to and eat for a decent price?
Right.
You can't. This is the only place I know of. Because anywhere else, you're gonna pay $10 for a drink,
Mhm.
and
I didn't know
probably
beer here was $3.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'd have been coming over here.
right. I mean, that's what I mean. I mean, you
Hey.
can't go to hardly any other sporting event.
Where
And
you
eat
gonna
for
get a
what you
$3
can
bill?
eat here.
You can't get a $3 bill. I bet you at any nightclub.
No.
Yeah, okay. So
No.
Or
No,
any
no.
other sporting
if you
stadium.
can bring your family here, bring a cooler or whatever, and you can drink it up here and get you a couple $3 beers.
No. And you can eat for $15 a piece.
Yeah, you
Well,
can't eat for $15 a piece up the corner there.
No, hell no. You can't go to McDonald's for that. You know.
Yeah.
And the food's much better than it is at McDonald's.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
Now Papa John's.
Well, yeah,
Papa
you
John's
can get a
over
pizza.
here.
Yeah.
I love Papa John's.
Yeah, we do too.
Yes,
Sometimes
Jack,
chips
I'm in
on
your chair and I'm gonna sign it before I leave.
You should. I got a Sharpie.
Yeah, I'm gonna sign it. And as soon as Paige walks out the door, I'm gonna put my mark on it. Jack, enjoy your vacation though, bud. Don't
Yeah.
watch us, man. Go out there and enjoy yourself.
Oh, they're right. There's much better things to do. We're not that entertaining.
You're
Well-
right, Gary. Rose Durham, Linda Flick,
Oh, yeah.
and Karen Sprinkle. Yes, Karen Sprinkle.
Mhm. I mean, it's surprisingly you wouldn't think so. I mean, you probably wouldn't have thought there was that many females prior to the generations now. I think we just talk about it more now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I
But they were a big draw. I mean, there really was.
You need to talk to your young people, these young kids, these young boys in this limited class. You need some young girls out here to show these young boys up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or at least distract them or something. But thanks, Jack, for letting me take over your show. Thanks, Scott, for asking me.
No, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
And I wanna send a shout out to everybody at Frontline Motorsports. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love every one of y'all. I even love the people that hate me. I know I got some haters out there, and I know I still love y'all.
And I believe that, and I can concur. I've never seen Robbie. I'd say never, but as happy as you were the other
I
night.
was
cloud now. Like I said, he's
Racing
got
wasn't
perma
gonna-
smile on. I forgot who I told that to, and they
It
started
was
laughing.
not going to humble me. That wreck was not going to humble me. There's no way.
How many times can you wreck? I mean, tear the car up and get out and still smile.
Not many times.
I know he has, and he doesn't smile when he finishes 6 or 7.
I mean, I
Yeah.
seen him
Right.
smile a minute ago when he said
You're
he
right.
wasn't paying attention. He was watching the race on the
Yeah.
phone. He started laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thank you, everybody that came up to me. It really means a lot. I mean, it does. A lot of people came up to me, shook my hands. Good to see you back.
It was funny to hear Taylor talk about some of the people. Was like, oh man, I've always wanted to see your dad race or race. You know, I mean, it hasn't been that long since you've raced, but we still have like this influx of new. Like 5 years ago when you were racing, it
Yeah.
seemed like it almost felt like that we were sort of NASCAR was in this pivotal point, right? We weren't getting new people in.
No.
We have to get new people in, right, to carry the sport forward.
And
And it seems like we've had that now. I mean, what does that feel like for you to have these young kids? It's like they want to see you race. They've heard about you, but they haven't seen it or those type of things.
it feels good. Actually, you know, Wesley Newell coming back,
Mm-hmm.
you know, his first time back, he come up to me. He's like, you know, hey man, you running tonight? I said, yeah, man, I'm gonna run tonight. He says, all right, I'll see you out there. I said, you can see me out there. He says, I'm running too. And I was like, oh yeah, you know, we shook hands, kind of hugged a little bit, you know. I know there's some people that don't like me. I don't know. I mean, but Austin might be one of them. But you know what? I do. I really, y'all made me feel special. I mean, the people that did come up, and I mean, I try to be a nice guy. Sometimes I'm not. I'm trying harder to be a nice guy.
You're good, Robbie.
But no, thank you everybody that did say something and comment. You know, I had, you know, Brad Adams wish me good luck on Facebook before the race started. You know, that means a lot, you know, when people are doing that. Thank you everybody. And like I say, man, I don't know what's gonna happen. We may do it again, I don't know, but hey, no racing, never say never.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys. I thank you guys for coming. Thanks, Robbie, for filling in.
I appreciate it, man. I had fun.
Thank you.
And it's been fun. Thanks to Kyle, however you pronounce his last name.
Kyle Bonsignore.
Yeah,
Is it Bonsignore?
I keep wanting to say that. What?
Bonsignore.
That's what I wanted to say.
Bonsignore.
But either way, thanks for him taking some time while he's driving around.
Yeah.
It got dark real quick. Did you
Yeah,
notice
it
that? It was like it was
did.
real light.
Oh,
Next thing you know, it got real
yeah.
dark.
Yeah.
Thanks Kyle for coming on, and Jack will be back next week, and we'll see you.
And I guess I'll be back next year. Jack, no driver of the week, no nothing like that. You know.
Oh yeah, he didn't even post it this
did
week.
He send you anything?
No, I guess we ain't got no
Okay,
damn driver of the week.
Oh, driver of the week. Who'd be a good driver of the week? I'll tell you what, everybody's driver of the week. How about that? Jack, you got to give everybody driver of the week.
There you go.
Everybody for putting on a great show Saturday night.
They did. It was a good night. All right, guys. Thanks, guys.